Well, I had a hit piece written about me yesterday at the Daily Beast that we're going to talk about here. Yesterday, I ended up getting this email from a writer at the Daily Beast asking me for comment. And I thought actually they were asking when they contacted me to talk about the piece, the radar that I did on Gonzalo Lira, where I mentioned the Daily Beast extensively in it, saying that they had written a hit piece about him and that they, potentially were putting him in danger. I thought that's what they were contacting me about, but no, they were like, hey, we've got a hit piece about you and we want to comment from you about this. Let me just show you. So they did publish it yesterday. Let me just show you the actual Twitter thread. The piece is out there if you do want to go and look for it and read it. But I encourage you not to, because if you do click on it, then they're going to think, oh, this is popular. And then they're going to want to write more pieces like this. But this is the Twitter thread that they published yesterday in conjunction with the piece, saying exclusive, trouble at the Hill. Staffers at the D.C. outlet have complained to management about Kim Iversen, one of the hosts of The Hill's popular web show Rising, over her fringe views and misinformation, media newsletter Confider has learned. By the way, I couldn't even get an actual piece in the Daily Beast. They only put me in the newsletter. Maybe next time. Maybe next time my profile will raise up and they'll give me an actual piece in the actual publication. It says, Kim is a conspiracy theorist, said one staffer. I think she's really bad news. Iversen brands herself as a tell-it-like-it-is, no BS broadcaster and spoke at this month's anti-vax Defeat the Mandates rally in L.A. She was also briefly suspended by YouTube last month for COVID misinformation. Iversen has further sparked uproar among her The Hill colleagues for parroting Kremlin talking points about Ukrainian neo-Nazis and seemingly defending the Chinese government's brutal treatment of Uyghurs, for which co-host Ryan Grimm confronted her on air. According to sources at The Hill, who described her rhetoric as toxic and dangerous, staffers have expressed serious concerns about Iversen to management. The complaints have gone above editor-in-chief Bob Cusack, one high-level staffer said. In a statement to Confider, Kim Iversen said her coworkers' feelings aren't a secret to her. Everyone has witnessed the disdain on air. And yes, I'm aware of the whining to management. This isn't news. So this piece came out yesterday. When I read what they were writing, I thought this is not, as you see me respond, this is not news. Everyone has seen on air the disagreements. Sometimes They get very heated even. And that is for everybody to witness. This is not news that there are some people that do not agree with my opinions, and sometimes very passionately they don't agree with my opinions. So I just felt like this is like a funny thing to eat. For one, is this news? I know it's not really
it's news. It's news to the Daily Beast. It's news to the mainstream media because they don't do this anymore. What our show does, which is bring, like, you and I disagree on plenty of things on some of those subjects. Ryan and you disagree even more strongly, and Brianna, like, we have a range of views on these important subjects, and we actually discuss them and debate them. And sometimes it gets heated. I don't think it gets heated very often, but of course it does sometimes. And that that's what our show is about, is having actual debates and disagreement. And no one else in the media does that anymore. They used to do that. You used to the host would bring on people they disagreed with. They would have panel segments where there's debate. But now everyone, CNN, MSNBC, Fox too, there's no actual disagreement. You're brought on to agree with the host, and that's it. So what our show does, it didn't used to be this way, but is now, I think, totally unique in all the media. So it is news to the Daily Beast that, oh my God, can you believe that? They're going off script. They're actually having like uncomfortable moments where people are upset with each other and disagreeing and quarreling. But like, that's what the viewers don't just want to be told things they already know by people who's like, you could write their talking points for them because you already know what they're going to say. So anyway, that's why I think they think it's news, even though it's not news to us and it's not news to our viewers.
Yeah, this wasn't news at all. It's definitely not news to the viewers. Everybody has seen, the disagreements on air. This is not news at all. One thing, though, I want to mention. So they kind of, when they wrote this piece, they mentioned that I had been blocked on YouTube and then suspended on YouTube, and that The Hill had been also suspended at one point, almost like pinning it on me. For one, my suspension from YouTube for the COVID misinformation, quote unquote, was reversed not even with me appealing it. YouTube reversed it on their own volition and issued me an apology. So, of course, they don't write that in the piece. Right. Secondly, I had nothing to do with when The Hill was suspended. That was you and Ryan and Emily Jashinsky when you guys were talking. I wasn't even in that segment at all, but they still kind of made it sound like, people at The Hill are worried that Kim's going to get the platform in trouble. I think we all, of course, worry about that. That's also not a secret. We always are mentioning and joking about, oh no, the YouTube censor's coming after us. But look, every organization has, and we've seen this in the news. We see it at Netflix. We see it at Spotify. We're seeing it now at Twitter. There's always that person or small group of people. Sometimes it's a larger group, depending on the organization, that just has a certain viewpoint where they don't accept other certain viewpoints, and they want to revolt. They want to complain to management. They want to say we're walking out if this person is allowed on the platform. We saw this with Spotify and Joe Rogan. There is, of course, that mentality of, I don't like that particular viewpoint. I'm only going to allow viewpoints that I disagree with that are in a certain realm. And anybody outside of that, they should just be silenced. They're misinformation. They're conspiracy theorists. We all know those exist. Those types of mentalities exist. And yeah, maybe some of those mentalities even exist at The Hill. But, and people, I think anybody should be allowed to express their opinion. And if they feel that way, they should express it. If they want to talk to management about it, absolutely fine. Right. I'm not here to censor anybody. But what a company then ultimately ends up doing, and The Hill is about having multiple viewpoints, having different perspectives, as long as they are based in fact and fact-checked, and everything I talk about is fact-checked and based in fact. You might not like my conclusion or my opinions. That's how, that's the premise of this show. Right. But this is not news to me. When they wrote this to me, this is not news. I do know of certain, maybe complaints here or there. But the vast majority of everything everybody has seen publicly. There's no revolt, I think, going on. Are you revolting? Was this you, Robbie? Were you the one that did? You were the one that did.
I knew I was going to get blamed.
Were you the lead? Were you the mole?
I absolutely am not. But I did used to write. I mean, it's years ago now. It shows how much things have changed, or various publications go through changes. I used to write a weekly column for the Daily Beast 5 or 6 years ago or something. I used to have a lot of friends there, but I don't anymore. It was absolutely not me. When I have complaints about what you say, Kim, I just complain about them on TV with you. Same way you have complaints about what I say sometimes. So it's just. The idea that I don't know that anyone, the kind of tattling type stuff, this is typical media gossip, rumory nonsense that I agree with you isn't news. But no, I didn't do it. I know on Twitter people are accusing me of being a narc because I seem like I would be.
I was joking with you when I said that to you.
Was not me.
I don't think it was you. But look, clearly they must have got, whatever. They're writing this piece, they're talking to somebody, whatever. So, this is more of an implication of, this is kind of, it's not just me they're implicating everybody. So now everybody, all of you at The Hill are now all suspects to me. Everybody's a suspect.
This is going to be like a little clue game. Was it Robbie?
Who's the one? Was it Robbie? Who was the one that leaked this information to the Daily Beast? All they had to do was honestly watch our YouTube channel, watch all of our segments, and then they put this together, and it's just. But
you could watch a single episode of our show, and it's not a secret that people disagree. That is the premise of our show. We do it on the show. We're filmed doing it every day, so it just shows how clueless they are, and they're allowed to be clueless about what we do. They don't have to pay attention to us, but. What they're missing is that this used to be what television news, what we're doing was the project of television news, and then they all got lazy or scared of alternate opinions, or just very set in their I'm right and I don't want to hear anyone who challenges me kind of mindset, which is just it's not what we're about.
Yeah, it's not healthy at all.
It's not healthy at all.
And they have that perspective, and people that hold that perspective, like those that are, CNN is very much, I think, kind of an embodiment of this in a lot of ways. Maybe they'll change. Hopefully they do. But that's why CNN Plus didn't work. This type of viewpoint, this silence and censor and only have certain viewpoints on that, the safe opposing opinions that they deem to be okay. That's not popular, as we've seen. So, they need to, I think, re-gear themselves a little bit on.
But it's not even, it's like, when was the last time you watched a Fox segment and they had someone on who disagreed with, who was going to argue against the perspective of the host? They used to do that, and they never do it anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're definitely missing that. And here, that is what we do. So this is totally not. I actually laughed when I read what he was asking me and what the claims he was making. I was like, I mean, this isn't news. I don't understand. Like, it's not like people are telling me, everybody's saying, oh, Kim, we all agree with you. Everybody agrees with you here. Everybody's just, and then behind my back, everybody's, oh, I can't believe her. No, guys, it's happening.
We all call you hydroxychloroquine behind your back. No.
To my face, actually.
Yes, I learned that from you. You told me that, and I thought it was hilarious.
No, I'm the one that taught you that. All right. Well, anyway, funny. I wish, though, next time, the one request I have of the Daily Beast is please put me actually as a feature in your publication. Don't put me in a newsletter that you just throw, I mean, come on, that people delete out of their inbox.
Yeah.
It's an honor to finally be smeared by the Daily Beast. I've joined the ranks of many others, so.
Indeed.
All right. Well, we have more Rising coming up next.